What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. The day has finally come after a long off season. The NFL is officially back. We got, a little hint of football last weekend to start with college football, and now we got NFL, fantasy football, all that good stuff back starting tonight with the Bills and the Rams. Um, we're going to kind of just be going over every game today, giving our predictions on who we just think are going to win straight up. And then Fridays are going to be more fantasy oriented, going into each game. And then at the end of this episode, we are each going to give our Super Bowl predictions. So look forward to that. But for now, how are you doing today, Korea?
Look, how else could I be doing? Football's back. The return of the NFL. It's the beginning of the new season, the beginning of the 2022-2023 season. A lot of NFL fans have been waiting for this moment. It's been a long off season, obviously a lot of movement in terms of quarterback carousel. Obviously, AFC West is the best division of football, in my opinion, right now. And we get to see a potential Super Bowl matchup in week one. How not only week one, but the first game of the season. How else could you really take it? So I'm doing good, but obviously there's always something that happens on a big day like this. So first off, rest in peace to the Queen. Rest in peace to the Queen herself. That was crazy. First, I've seen all the. Did you see like all the memes about people saying like R.I.P. Bozo? Oh my god! Like obviously the American people were just like, okay, let's get on to football. But yeah, it was crazy. But I'm hyped. NFL is back. I'm ready to get into it.
No doubt. So let's just dive right into the game tonight. Between the Bills and the Rams, much anticipated since it was first announced. Maybe it was like a month ago, something like that when the schedule was released. Potential Super Bowl game. Some people, are going to have these two teams in the Super Bowl. You got the defending Super Bowl champion Rams. And then you got the Bills, who are pretty much the Super Bowl favorite, I believe, betting wise, heading into the season. I think Van Jefferson, I believe, was ruled out for the Rams. But other than that, there's no major injuries to note. You got the debut of Allen Robinson with the Rams. You got Bobby Wagner coming over to the Rams. The Bills are missing Tre'Davious White, I believe, is going to be out. So that's a big loss for the Bills secondary. But their offense can still, make up for anything pretty much. Korea, who do you have in this game? And I guess kind of what are you looking forward to kind of keeping an eye on tonight?
Yeah. First off, I think this is going to be a really fun game to watch personally. Look, you have the Rams obviously coming off the Super Bowl victory against the Bengals at home, and now they can start off this 2022 season at home against pretty much one of the better teams, if not the best team, in my opinion, in the AFC, which is the Buffalo Bills. And this is definitely going to be a big game because obviously there's Von Miller. It's kind of like a revenge game for him. It's kind of crazy to think Von Miller coming back in the first game to play the team that he just won the Super Bowl with, now on the Bills. And obviously there's been this lingering question about what the hell OBJ is going to be doing. And he's been saying that he may join the winner of this. So it's like the winner of this game gets the contract rights for OBJ, I guess. So that could happen. But personally, I feel like this is definitely going to be a great game to watch. In terms of the Rams, we're going to see how Matthew Stafford really is healthy. A lot of people have been talking about that elbow and his surgery this offseason. And, a lot of people have been questioning whether or not he's going to be that repeat quarterback, during the Cooper Cup, obviously for his Triple Crown year. So there's a question whether or not he can repeat the same numbers. Obviously, they bring in a new offensive weapon in Allen Robinson III. We'll see how he gels with the offense then. And obviously, bigger question coming out of the backfield is how healthy is Cam Akers. We saw him a little bit of him in the playoffs of last year as well as maybe the last few weeks of the regular season. So, and now he has a full off season, getting ready for a full 17. We'll see how healthy he is. And for the Bills, obviously that offense is such a pass heavy offense. Obviously, we've seen what Josh Allen can do with his legs, and you have an emerging Gabriel Davis. You bring back Stephon Diggs, a top 5 receiver. Dawson Knox, honestly, one of Josh Allen's favorite targets as well. And, that offense is pretty well set. And then the defense, obviously, they don't have Tre'Davious White right now, obviously due to injury. But you bring in Von Miller, and then you still have, I believe, is Poyer playing? I know he was kind of a game time decision, or a little finicky there. But
I don't see him on the injury report, so I think he is.
yeah, so they got Jordan Poyer back. That's a big key in the secondary. They bring back Von Miller, and they still have that front four. Look, I feel like this is definitely going to be a big game for both teams to really set the tone. In terms of prediction, this is hard. I mean, literally, even Vegas doesn't even know who's going to win this game, just because it's literally the first game of the season. Like, we don't know how any NFL team really looks right now with their full starters. And I mean, honestly, this is just going to be biased. I'm going to go with the Bills. I mean, I think the Bills honestly will come into LA and, cause up a storm. I think Bills Mafia is going to make their presence known. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be very, very probably low scoring because, new season, new offenses, a little bit of rust for some of these people who didn't get to play that much in the preseason, but I still feel like the Bills will come out with the victory. It's going to be very close. I'd love to see Stephon Diggs versus Jalen Ramsey. That's going to be one of the bigger matchups I'm really excited to see tonight. I think Bills are going to have a close win. I think it's going to be maybe like a 28-27 victory, last-second field goal to take them over the edge, and the Bills win in a very, very exciting game one of the NFL season.
No, yeah, I'm completely with you. I have the Bills playing out a close one as well. I think there's going to be, a decent amount of points. I think even with some rust, Stafford, I mean, there's some concern with his elbow, but he said that he feels good. McVay says he feels good, and that's all we really have to go off of. Like, there's nothing else that we can go off of to know if his elbow is truly going to be affecting him or not. So as of right now, like you said, that'll be something to watch tonight. But I think both offenses are gonna have plenty of scoring chances and all that. And I think we're going to see a game kind of, like you said, in the high 20s to even low 30s in terms of, total points on each side. But I agree with the Bills coming out with a close win to open the season. So now we'll head into the 10 a.m. the first slate of the Sunday games. And we'll start off with the Saints-Falcons. Michael Thomas, it seems like he's going to be playing, but it's still not 100% yet. The Falcons, it sounds like Drake London could miss the game, but it's unknown for him as well. I think he was limited today on Thursday. We got an NFC South divisional matchup. Korea, what are you thinking here?
Look, the Falcons are going to be bad. I'm sorry. The Falcons are going to be atrocious. And I like the Saints this year. I think the Saints could be a sneaky playoff team. Obviously, you bring back Jameis Winston, and a lot of people are kind of, high or low on him. I think this could be a breakout season for him. You bring in Chris Olave. You bring in Jarvis Landry, more receiving in that core. Obviously, the bigger question is what's going on with Alvin Kamara's case, and obviously we don't even know. But right now he is playing week 1, so they're going to let him play. And you still have pretty big keys on that defense with Tyrann Mathieu coming in now. And, yes, you lost to Ron Armstead, but still, I feel like I still feel like this team is definitely going to be easily beating the Falcons. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was 5.5 last I looked for the Saints favorite wise, and I think that they should cover that pretty easily. I think they're going to easily win by 10 plus. I think the Falcons could be a pretty gritty team at times this year, but the Saints just have too much talent on both sides of the field to lose this one.
Mm-hmm.
So now we'll go over to the 49ers Bears battle of the two young quarterbacks, and Trey Lance and Justin Fields. It sounds like George Kittle is going to be missing this game. Last report I saw today was that he didn't take part in practice today, and it sounds like the Niners want to give him – they don't want to take a chance of him suffering an injury that could be worse than what it is now. And to be fair, they probably won't need him, to beat the Bears most likely. You still got Ayuk, who last year in the games Kittle missed, Ayuk really stepped up big time last year. Of course, you got Deebo Samuel, and then you got the running game, and then Trey Lance. On the Bears side, I don't think there's any major injuries. Niners are, last I saw, was a 7-point favorite. I've been talking all offseason about how much I like Trey Lance, since last year. I didn't think that this is going to be his coming out party, as the clear starter to put away any kind of talk of Garoppolo still being on the team and having a chance to take over the starting role at some point. So I like the 49ers to win this game pretty easily.
I do too. And not even just talking about the Niners. I mean, the Bears offense is anemic right now. I mean, they have no really star receivers. We've talked about this all offseason. The Bears don't have any star guy they can throw the ball to. So it looks like Justin Fields is going to have to use his legs alongside the backfield, which is going to get a lot of prominent, playing time with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. I feel like the Niners just have too much talent, even if George Kittle's not going to be there. You mentioned this is the coming out party for Trey Lance. He could definitely use his legs, which is definitely something that the Niners would like to prioritize more, because obviously you have all these guys like, Deebo Samuel, who are, can use their legs as well. Ayuk, who's fast on the ground as well. So I feel like the Niners should easily cover this. Bears are just not going to be able to put up any offense against that Niners defense, which is still very, very good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think, it'd be interesting to see how the Bears offense looks with Fields having, a whole offseason to work as a starter. I think we'll see him take at least a small step forward, but I still think it would be enough to take down the Niners, especially, like you said, their defense is going to probably wreak havoc on Fields to make him, run for his life all game. Now we have another divisional matchup between the Steelers and the Bengals. Bengals coming off the Super Bowl appearance. Deontay Johnson was limited, but it sounds like he's probably going to play. Other than that, no notable injuries to kind of keep an eye on. Corey, who do you got here?
This has been a toss-up for me. I want to obviously go with the Bengals and, with riding the momentum after their miraculous season last year with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and how just dirty that offense looks. And now with an improved offensive line, but the Steelers, they can play ball, and this AFC North, it's definitely going to be a lot more of a scrappy division in my opinion, because I feel like these teams know each other the best, and that defense still has T.J. Watt, they still have Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Steelers defense, but in terms of the offensive battle, I just don't see the Steelers really stepping up. Obviously, besides Najee Harris, obviously Mitchell Trubisky is going to be starting for this Steelers team, so we'll see how that goes. A lot of people were kind of hoping that Kenny Pickett would get the nod, but, Mitchell Trubisky has more experience, and whether that's good or bad, I still feel like the Bengals are still going to win this game. It's not going to be, I think it's going to be kind of close, but maybe by like a touchdown or something like that. But I feel like this Bengals team really addressed the problems that they needed to move into next season, and they did them really well. So I feel like the Bengals are going to win this game at home.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I think it's going to be a pretty sloppy game early. Two teams going at it, two rival teams that definitely the fan bases just like each other. So it's definitely going to be an interesting game early. But I think the Bengals, just their firepower is going to be too much by the second half. And I agree they're going to pull away. Moving along, we got the Eagles and the Lions. Lions potentially missing 3 stars in the offensive line this week, which is not good. I believe Frank Ragnow missed practice today on Thursday. And then they have a couple of guards who are hurt as well. We got the new look Eagles offense, Jalen Hurts with A.J. Brown. It sounds like Miles Sanders going to play, but how big of a role he has is always unknown in that backfield. And then we got the Lions coming off being on Hard Knocks and all of that. Swift looking to make another leap this year. You still got Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown looking to take a step forward this year for that offense. Who do you got, Korea?
Obviously, like the Lions, definitely a great story. The Hard Knocks, and that team is just different. The whole vibe is different. And I just found out, I think they put it out like yesterday or 2 days ago, that this is the first ever sold out game at Ford Field, like on a non-Thanksgiving game in a very long time. So even Detroit fans know that something different, a different atmosphere, a positive atmosphere is coming to Detroit. But I mean, Philly, I feel like Philly is definitely going to be a division contender in the NFC East, alongside Dallas. I feel like this Eagles team, they addressed many of the problems they needed to offseason. They converted their offense to a pass-heavy offense. Now with Jalen Hurts throwing the ball to potentially A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. And, yeah, you said Miles Sanders is probably going to be healthy. But, I mean, at the same time, like, I don't think his role is going to be, drastically improved, but at the same time, he'll definitely get some playing time. I have the Eagles winning this game, but I don't think the Lions are going to just give up and go down. Obviously, they're missing 3 key starters on that offensive line, so that's definitely going to be a problem for Jared Goff in that backfield, alongside maybe DeAndre Swift, so he'll maybe have to adjust on his timing. But I still feel like the Lions will, give them a run for their money, but the Eagles are going to pull away and win this game.
Yeah, I'm mostly with you. I think, if you're going to get rid of the ball fast, I think Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown and 2 pass catchers are good in that area of just kind of getting them the ball in open space and letting them kind of work after the catch. And so I think we're going to see, a lot of that from those 2. But the Eagles' offense is just going to be a little bit too much for the Lions' offense at the end of the day. Moving on along. This is probably the toughest one for me in this week. Between the Patriots and Dolphins, my heart is saying the Patriots, and my gut instinct, my head is saying the Dolphins. I was going back and forth. I originally picked the Patriots, but then I eventually leaned toward the Dolphins in this one. Tua has had success against the Patriots in his career, and now he has a much better supporting cast around him than he had in any of those previous games. But I think that this is going to be a really, really tight game that comes down to potentially a game-winning drive from either Mac Jones or Tua. Curry, what do you think?
I think the Dolphins are going to win this game. I want to believe in the Patriots offense and, how this Patriots team is going to operate. But I just feel like this is the make it or break it year for Tua right now, with not only Jalen Waddle returning, but bringing in Tyreek Hill and, having more and more offensive weapons. Mike McDaniel, first time head coaching this team. And I feel like this could be a coming out party for him. So I feel like the Dolphins could win this. I'm not going to knock off the Patriots. Obviously, Bill Belichick has been around for years, and we know his track record, winning so many Super Bowls alongside Tom Brady. But I feel like I just like, with all the hype surrounding camp about how Tua has done the ball so well to Tyreek Hill, and, it's time to prove it. And I feel like if this hype is real, I feel like the Dolphins do have the chance to win this game. I feel like they are going to win this game, but it all comes down to how Tua really plays offensively. You mentioned that, this team, Tua has played not so great, but, pretty well against this Patriots team. So it all comes down to how he plays with more weapons. I got the Dolphins, but like you said, I think it's going to be coming down to maybe a game-winning drive, or, maybe in the last 3 minutes of the game. I feel like the Dolphins may have the edge over the Patriots.
Yeah, for sure. Now we move on to a revenge game of Joe Flacco against the Ravens.
And CJ Mosley.
Was Zach Wilson sidelined? Ravens looking, Lamar Jackson, his contract will be something to monitor. I believe you said the other day that Friday was the day he put the deadline, I believe, for the extension. But I've heard nothing that suggests that he's going to hold out or miss any game. So he should be on the field. I like the Jets offense. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize Breece Hall and Michael Carter in that backfield. I like Elijah Moore. Last year in the one game Flacco started, he connected well with Elijah Moore. So it's a small sample size, but I think Elijah Moore can benefit in garbage time in this game. But I think that this game is going to get pretty ugly early, and the Ravens should roll pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't see that much success for this Jets team this week. Obviously, they're banking on the fact that Zach Wilson is going to be coming back probably around week 4. That's what Saleh said in his press conference. So, obviously, you have Joe Flacco in his revenge game against this Baltimore team week 1. But, he's facing his successor. He's facing Lamar Jackson potentially. And, that Ravens offense is definitely going to be a big question mark in terms of the run game, just because, J.K. Dobbins and his health status, and we don't really know whether or not he's still playing week 1. He's more of a game time decision as well. But, people have been saying that they maybe I think Lamar Jackson even hinted that he'll be back in a couple weeks, saying that, J.K. Dobbins is still not 100% ready. But, people have been saying that this is the breakout year for Rashad Bateman as well for the receiving core. And they still have Mark Andrews. And I still feel like, even though the Jets have done great in terms of, addressing the gaps that they needed, getting, Sauce Gardner and, definitely stepping up that offensive line that has been giving them so many problems, and getting Garrett Wilson, a star receiver, and Breece Hall in the backfield. This Ravens team, offensively is just going to be too much for that defense. I feel like the Ravens are going to not blow them out, but I feel like the Ravens are going to just keep a steady lead, maybe a 17-point lead, and, keep that throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. So now we'll move into the new era of Washington football and the debut of Carson Wentz with the Commanders going up against the new kind of newly looked Jaguars with new coach. You got Travis Etienne back, looking to take a step forward after the miserable year last year and Lawrence's rookie year. I think it's going to be a pretty ugly game on both sides. I'm not expecting a lot of points. I'm not sure what the over-under is, but I might look to the under without knowing what that is. But I'm leaning towards the Commanders right now, but I'm not 100% certain on the other side. I think I put my prediction post out on my fantasy account, and I think I picked the Commanders, but I don't even fully remember, but I think I picked the Commanders. What do you think?
Look, I want to pick the Commanders, and, it's a home game, but I'm sorry, but FedEx Field is a dump. I just don't think there's going to be any success for that team there. I like what the Jaguars have done, with the coaching change and, Travis Etienne coming back with his former college quarterback now. They've paid a lot of money for that receiving core with Christian Kirk and Marvin Woods Jr. They've definitely – not address, the right pieces on defense, but they've addressed some, Trayvon Walker with the number 1 pick. Look, Carson Wentz, this man is boomer bust. Look, ever since his MVP season, this man has been the most inconsistent quarterback. After losing to the same Jaguars team week 18, I feel he's going to lose again. I feel the Jaguars are going to get a solid road win again over Carson Wentz. To start off the 2022 season. But I feel like you're right. This game is not going to be pretty to watch. I don't know how many people are going to be watching it, but it's not going to be the most watched this week. I feel like this is going to be on the lower end. But I feel like the Jaguars can, definitely surprise this Commanders team. And with all that they've done on offense, I feel like, this and obviously the Commanders obviously not having Chase Young to start is a big loss. And I feel like that's definitely going to be evident. I have the Jaguars winning this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely not confident in the Commanders, but I think even without Chase Young, their defense is way better than the Jaguars' defense. I think that's the difference maker for me, but it's definitely not going to be one that I'll tune in because it's football, but definitely not one I'm super excited to watch this weekend. Now we'll head into one of the more notable revenge games of this week. With Baker Mayfield lining up under center for the Panthers against Jacoby Brissett and the Browns. I'm going the Panthers here. I think Mayfield gets his revenge. I think with the shoulder injury he was playing through last year, I think he gets a little bit too much heat for his play, just because I think it was pretty clear watching him that he was not healthy. And I assume that he's going to be fully healthy heading into this season, and he's going to definitely have in the back of his mind just kind of wanting to get back at the Browns, just with how that kind of whole ordeal ended with him leaving Cleveland. What do you think, Korea?
Look, the whole Cleveland situation with Deshaun Watson right now, obviously he's going to be missing a great amount of time, and they have to put in Jacoby Brissett. That's no success either. And then obviously Baker is this is the revenge game for him. The Cleveland Browns screwed him over, and this is his time to really prove that y'all done messed up. Y'all should have kept me, but y'all wanted to trade me to a different team. And I feel like the Panthers are going to get this win at home. The Browns definitely, they obviously still have some big names, and Nick Chubb on an offense, Kareem Hunt, who has obviously wanted to be traded, but we haven't heard anything since that request got denied by the Browns. And then, they brought in Amari Cooper, but, with Jacoby Brissett at the quarterback, you don't really know what Cooper's value is really going to be week 1. And I just feel like, there's a bunch of questions for that Browns offense led with Jacoby Brissett. Is he really better than Baker? We'll see. But, obviously healthy CMC, healthy DJ Moore, healthy Baker, I like the Panthers in this situation at home, week 1. Obviously, there's people today who got a little nervous about CMC with his with being added to the injury report, but I believe it was just like a little shin blade injury, and he'll be fine for Sunday. So with CMC, I feel like this Panthers team is going to beat the Browns week 1 at home.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. So now we'll head into the final game of the first slate Sunday morning. Colts-Texans divisional matchup. I think the Colts are a 7-point favorite. You got the debut of Matt Ryan in Indy, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, and then you look to see if Davis Mills can take a step forward in Houston this year. Damian Pierce leading the backfield, Brandon Cooks. I'm kind of looking to see if Pierce has that role in the passing game, or if Rex Burkhead kind of has that role and Pierce is more of an early down back. That's one of the storylines I'll be watching in this game, but I'm not going to overthink it. I think the Colts win this game pretty easily by double digits. I like Mills, and I like what I've seen from him. I think that they're going to definitely put some points on the board, but I think Taylor is probably going to run all over their defense. And then I think Matt Ryan's just going to have an efficient game like he normally has. I think Pittman, potentially even rookie Alex Pierce, could have a pretty decent game in his debut. Curry, what do you think?
Yeah, obviously this Colts team, just missing out of the playoffs last year, literally by a game because Carson Wentz decided to not play football in Week 18 against the Jaguars. But obviously Week 1 now, they're one of the favorites to win the AFC South, a very weak AFC South division. I feel like the Colts are definitely going to win this game. Obviously I'm excited to see how, Damian Pierce, the rookie, does in his first game for the Texans to see how much playing time he's really going to get. But you mentioned the debut of Matt Ryan with his brand new team in Indianapolis. You have Michael Pittman coming back. That could be a big connection. And obviously on the ground, they have Jonathan Taylor, the number 1 fantasy running back, or the number 1 overall player right now, Jonathan Taylor, alongside that dominant offensive line. I just feel like it's going to be just too much power for the Texans, and the Colts pretty much own them right now. So I definitely think the Colts are definitely going to win this game.
Now we'll head into the afternoon slate with the Giants facing the Titans. The kind of new-look Titans without A.J. Brown. And then you got Derrick Henry coming off an injury. On the Giants side, you look to see if they can actually be a even
competent team.
Competent is what I was looking for. You got the return of Saquon Barkley, Brian Dabble leading the way. You see if Kenny Golladay can catch a pass. I'm not big on the Titans as a team this year, but I think that they take this one at home. I think I worry about Derrick Henry long term on the season. Just without losing A.J. Brown and losing that kind of explosion, I think that's going to have an effect on him. But against the Giants defense, I don't see it being a huge deal. I think it's going to be a big game by both running backs and Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. And then you got question marks on both sides at wide receiver and even quarterback. But I lean towards the home team here in Tennessee. What do you think, Korea?
I agree with you. Look, if this is battle of, who can make it out alive with all the changes in this week and for both teams. I mean, the Giants, obviously, new coaching change. They bring in Brian Dable. Obviously, Saquon is coming back this season, so that's great to see. Kenny Golladay, he looks so empathetic on the sideline. I've seen the videos. That man does not want to be there. He absolutely wants to get out of his contract so bad because Daniel Jones is that bad of a quarterback. And I just feel like, this whole receiving core, obviously Kadarius Toney is one name that I like, but other than that, there's really no one else that I really like in terms of that receiving core for the Giants. I mean, obviously you mentioned it for the Titans. Obviously the loss of A.J. Brown is going to be huge, but we'll see how Treylon Burks really steps up to the plate in week 1. Obviously they brought in Robert Woods as well, so we'll see how those two gel into this new look offense. You mentioned Derrick Henry, and obviously he has had his injury status as of recent, and we don't know how he's going to be. So I obviously go with the Titans, but, in terms of them in the division, I just don't know as well because, Derrick Henry's health is definitely one of their bigger question marks right now. And, can that Titans defense really stopped the Colts offense and Jonathan Taylor. I just don't know. So I'm going to go with the Titans in this game just because the Giants, it's the Giants.
So now we'll move on to probably one of the more anticipated. I mean, there's a few really good games in the afternoon, but this is one of them. Packers-Vikings, first year for Aaron Rodgers without really a true wide receiver one, losing Devontae Adams. So you see between Romeo Dubes, Christian Watson, Alan Lazard, who might not even play. And then you see kind of how they will rotate their backfield between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, potentially both of them being on the field sometimes, and then kind of rotating them in and out. And then you got the Vikings, new coach Kevin O'Connell. A lot of hype this offseason. More pass-heavy offense, more kind of modern style offense that should really unleash Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen even more so than last year. And then you got Dalvin Cook in the backfield. I've personally never really bought into the Vikings fully prior to this year, but this is a year that I am buying into them. I'm really bullish on their offense, led by Kevin O'Connell. I think that they have arguably the best like wide receiver running back duo with Jefferson and Dalvin Cook in the league. I think they're obviously going to be really, really fun to watch all season, and I have them pulling up the win here at home over Green Bay to open the season.
It's crazy because I was thinking the exact same thing, Ari. I love this Vikings team. I love them bringing in Kevin O'Connell, and a fun stat. If the Vikings just ended the game at halftime every single game last year, the Vikings would have been 15-2. Or I think it was the third quarter. Whatever halftime or third quarter. Still, it's just crazy how underrated this Vikings team is. They have one of the best offenses. You mentioned Jay Jettas, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and now you bring in Kevin O'Connell, who was working with that Rams offense, exploring all the options, it's just so mirror image. I see the Vikings and the Rams, and it's just crazy. I feel like the Vikings are definitely going to be one of those breakout teams as well. Even though, yes, the Packers are going to be fully healthy, and don't bet against Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. I know. Yeah, I can't bet against Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to do it today. I'm going to go with the Vikings. I feel like this Vikings team is definitely going to be one of the more fun teams to watch, as you said, on offense. And I feel like if they really want to compete in this division, you got to beat your division rival. And I feel like the Packers are definitely going to give them a run for their money. But you mentioned this is in Minnesota, so it is a home game for them, and that energy is going to be there, obviously. And you mentioned Aaron Rodgers not having Devontae Adams. Obviously, we'll see what he's going to be doing without his star receiver. We'll see who comes to the forefront to be that new number one. People have been saying Alan Lazard, but I've seen videos at camp saying that Dubes is Aaron Rodgers' favorite receiver right now, where there's still the question of what they're going to do with their second round pick Christian Watson. There's so many questions in terms of that receiving core. Obviously, they still have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in the backfield, but just too many questions on that offense. And in an offensive shootout like this, I feel like the Vikings have the way better advantage, and that's why I'm taking them to win this game.
Yeah, I still think Aaron Rodgers is going to do his thing. He's someone who can make receivers, better no matter who they are. So I think Rodgers is still going to have a good year. Packers are still going to be, very competitive every week. But yeah, I agree. The Vikings, I think, are going to be too much offensively. But the Packers have arguably one of the best defenses in the league. So it's going to be interesting to see how they line up against each other. Okay, so now we'll move on to the Chiefs-Cardinals game. Chiefs are a heavy favorite in this one, but like Rodgers missing Devontae Adams, you got Mahomes missing Tyreek Hill to open up this, or not to open this season in general. Then you got Juju Smith-Schuster coming to Kansas City. No Hopkins for Arizona. It sounds like Rondale Moore might not play either, and Zach Ertz as well. So a really, really banged up offense for Arizona. I think Kyler is still going to, put points on the board, still going to make it competitive. But I think in the end, the Chiefs are going to roll relatively easily, led by Mahomes.
Yeah, this is definitely Chiefs easily, in my opinion. You mentioned the Cardinals already being so banged up on offense. No DeAndre Hopkins, and then obviously Rondale Moore is in question, Zach Ertz is in question. And, Mahomes is going to Mahomes. He still has, very good offense. He still has Travis Kelce, obviously Tyreek Hill, but they bring in Juju Smith-Schuster, who is, I feel like is going to have a pretty good season. They bring in Marquez Valdez-Scantling as well as a good wide receiver too. They still have most out of offense, and obviously the Cardinals, I just feel like they're going to be outmanned and outnumbered in terms of battles. I feel like this Chiefs team is definitely going to be an easy win for them this week in Arizona.
Yeah, I agree. Now we have a really, really fun divisional matchup in the AFC West. Two teams that got better this offseason in the division as a whole, that where pretty much every team got better. Raiders and Chargers. Chargers new, not revamped defense, but making it even better than it already was. And then you got the offensive firepower of Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. And then on the Raiders side, you got the addition of Devontae Adams, healthy Darren Waller, healthy Josh Jacobs, healthy Hunter Renfrow, Derek Carr. I think that this is going to potentially, arguably, be the highest scoring game of the week, potentially. Maybe in the 30s or even reach the 40s. But I think the Chargers, I say at home, but they don't really get, the best support in home games. But I think the Chargers and Herbert are going to be a little bit too much Derek Carr, taking probably one possession win in what should be an offensive shootout.
I agree with you. I like this matchup. Obviously, this is pretty much one of the bigger matchups of the day. You have a Raiders offense that just looks even better now. And this was the game to determine who would be the last playoff spot between the two teams. And obviously the Raiders won in that electric final game of the regular season where, Justin Herbert looked like he couldn't miss a fourth down and whatever distance. He was still finding his options outside. And I remember Steeler fans, they were nervous that this game was going to end in a tie. And, it was just a crazy, crazy situation. But and you mentioned it, the Raiders, they bring in Devontae Adams. They definitely have more deep offensive power, and Derek Carr is still their quarterback, and the Carr and Adams connection continues from Fresno State. They still have Darren Waller. They still have Hunter Renfrow. That backfield for now still has Josh Jacobs, and then you look at the defense. They brought in Chandler Jones, definitely a big bring in alongside Max Crosby as well, and then for that Chargers defense, you mentioned it. It's not like it's brand new, but some big names are coming back. Derwin James, a sleeper for Defensive Player of the Year, I think. They brought in Khalil Mack, definitely one of the best outside linebackers in the game right now. They still have Joey Bosa. Whew, that's dangerous. And I feel like the Chargers are, and offensively, the Chargers can definitely keep up with this Raiders team. Obviously, Herbert, dark horse for MVP as well. Not dark horse. I feel like Herbert is now kind of has been so much of a dark horse to people that he's now the favorite to win, potentially the favorite to win the MVP this year. But then you also have Austin Eckler, who is definitely a great back, fantasy-wise as well. And then Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, still great wide receivers. I like the Chargers in this game, but it's going to be a shootout. And I feel like this is going to be one of the best games of the week.
And pretty much all these divisional matchups all year in the AFC West are probably going to be really fun games to watch on both sides. So now we'll head to the Sunday Night Football game, which was the season opener last year, where the Bucs squeaked out a close win over the Cowboys, and I think it's going to go pretty similarly this week between these two teams, with the Bucs squeaking out a pretty close win in what should be a very competitive game. The Cowboys, you got the question marks on the offensive line. How Ezekiel Elliott looks in the backfield, how they're going to utilize Tony Pollard, no Amari Cooper. So now you got CeeDee Lamb stepping up as the wide receiver one. In Dallas, Michael Gallup is still questionable last I saw for this week, so he's probably going to be a game time decision. And then the Bucs side, you got Godwin, who is a game time decision for Sunday night. Then you still got Brady back. You got Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Russell Gage, the two offseason additions in the Bucs offense. And then you got Fournette in the backfield with rookie Rashad White. I think it's going to be another fun game like last year with Tampa Bay squeaking out another close win.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that, both week 1 matchups back-to-back years for both of these teams are themselves. I mean, it was the first game in the regular season last year where the Bucs squeaked by the Cowboys in that electric first game last season, and now it's Sunday night down in Dallas, and I feel like, the Buccaneers definitely have a lot more of a hill to climb with, the offensive struggles that they will definitely follow. That will follow them. Obviously, Tom Brady and his, off the field issues may play a part, but, it's Tom Brady, it's the GOAT. You're not going to debate that. But then you also have most of that offensive line gone, and that's going to be a really big problem for that Buccaneers, for the Buccaneers in general, because, Tom Brady, obviously the pocket passer he is, he's not going to have any time to throw the ball, and the routes aren't going to have time to develop. So I feel like that's going to be one of the bigger concerns for this Buccaneers offense, but I'm not too scared as well. You mentioned the Cowboys. They have a lot of losses themselves. Obviously, Tyrann Mathieu out now, not out for out for most of the season. So that's a big loss for them. They lost Amari Cooper, obviously, to trade, and now they have to bring CeeDee to the forefront. They lost Randy Gregory in the offseason to the Broncos. They lost Cedric Wilson to Miami. They've lost a lot of pieces in terms of that offense and defense. So it's kind of be, just going to see who really has to step up for this Cowboys team. As you said, I feel like this is going to be one of the more, fun games to watch as well week 1, but I feel like the Buccaneers will squeak out again. I just feel like, you can't bet against the GOAT Tom Brady for any reason. And I feel like this game is a particular reason as to why, even though all the offensive troubles that this Bucs team is going to have, defensively, they're still going to be very, very good. They still have the defensive pieces that they have from last year. And I feel like the defense is going to be one of the more things they're going to rely on this year to carry them to wins, and starts out with a great week 1 win against the Cowboys for me.
And now we head into the final game.
I didn't want to get to this one.
Now we head into the final game of the week.
Can we skip this one?
The only game at this time, Monday night in Seattle. There's nothing really. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if Russell Wilson's nervous at all early in the game. I feel like it might be a slow start. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than some people might think. I don't think it's going to be like a 20, 30 point, blowout. But if we're picking, the winner of this game straight up, I'm going Denver.
Look, I want to go Seattle. My heart wants to go. You got to go Seattle. My mind is saying you have to go Seattle. But numbers don't lie. Look, we're playing. If we have Geno Smith as a starting quarterback, like, do you know how atrocious this game is going to be for us? Like, Seahawks fans are going to be closing their eyes. They're going to look at Russell Wilson come out and be crying, and then they're just going to be sad all night because Russell Wilson's going to destroy this team in the real revenge game of week 1. After all the details came out saying that, this organization was trying to move on from Russell Wilson back in 2018, definitely a big revenge game, adding more fuel to the fire. The Broncos are definitely going to easily win this game. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be fun for any Seahawks fans like us to watch. For me, I'm just looking to see Russ, and we'll maybe tune in maybe to the fourth quarter to see if what's happening there. But look, it's not going to be pretty. It's not. So if you have any,
all the pressure's going to be on Russell Wilson, especially when you're playing with nothing to lose. So I don't know. I think Denver's going to win if I'm predicting straight up. I don't think it's going to be like a 20-plus point win. I think it's going to be maybe like a 10-14 is what I would say, which is still quite a bit, but not what some people might think with this game.
And you know how Russ does under pressure. We've seen it before.
All I'm saying.
No shade.
But yeah, it should be a fun environment nonetheless in Seattle. Definitely going to be a sellout, and it's going to be interesting to see what the crowd response is when Wilson first steps foot on the field as an opposing player. In Seattle, it's definitely going to be. I think it's going to be a fun game either way. So that will do it for our week 1 predictions. We're going to be doing this every Thursday, going over our winners just straight up in each game. Now we'll close out this episode going over our Super Bowl prediction. So take it away, Korea.
Look, I'm in a position where I kind of don't know who's going to come out of the NFC right now. Because I have who's coming out of the AFC, right? I have the Bills. I think this Bills team, if they are who they say they are, because obviously a lot of people have been skeptical about them, them finishing, not the greatest record last year, 11-6, but if this team is for real, and this team is going to be for real, I think, then I feel like it's going to be the Bills playing in Super Bowl. Is it 56, 57? I don't know what this is. Whatever. The Bills are going to be playing the Super Bowl. I feel as if they are going to be playing the Rams. And that's why I say this. I feel like this is a Super Bowl matchup because I feel like this is going to be the Super Bowl matchup. I don't think the Bucs can do it in the playoffs. I don't think the Cowboys can do it in the playoffs. I don't think the Packers can do it in the playoffs. I don't think the Vikings can either. I don't think the Niners or the whoever, pretty much all 6 other teams except for the Rams. Do you see how good the Rams got to? They got Bobby Wagner as a replacement for freaking Von Miller. Like, how good of a replacement is that? You sub out Von Miller. Oh, we'll take Bobby Wagner now. Okay, so now you have a defense that contains Aaron Donald, who I'm so sick, man. This man almost retired. He was this close. He was this close to retiring. I'm so sick of that man. And then you got Bobby Wagner, right, who the Seahawks did so dirty, and now he's coming to play on an even better team with a better situation. And you have Jalen Ramsey, the best corner in the league. Come on. You can't tell me the Rams aren't going to come out of the NFC. I feel like we're going to get a rematch of what happens tonight. And I feel like in a neutral setting thank God, a neutral setting. I'm hoping for this year. No home field advantage. I have the Bills finally winning a Super Bowl over the Rams. I feel like the Rams are just going to come up short again in this matchup. But I feel like tonight will be just a little bit of a precursor of what's going to happen in this year's Super Bowl. I have the Bills over the Rams.
Okay, so I'll just start off with the AFC. I have the Bills as well. I wanted to go with the Ravens. I originally thought about going with the Ravens. I think the Bills offensively are just going to be too much for any other team in the AFC. I don't really like to go with, the public and how they all have the Bills, but I think that, we saw how close they were last year against the Chiefs to making it to the AFC Championship. And I think that, I think that this is their year to make it to the Super Bowl. On the NFC side, I don't have the Rams. I'll start off with that. I have a team whose quarterback I've been talking highly of since last year. It's definitely
don't you say
going to be an unpopular opinion.
Don't you
one
say
team
it.
that almost nobody has making that far, but
if you say
two of the last 3 years they've been in the NFC Championship with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, stop it.
I have the 49ers making it with Trey Lance taking that step forward that I believe he's going to take. You look at the recent games between the Niners and the Rams, who probably would be the NFC Championship. And for the most part, up until the NFC Championship last year, the Niners had the Rams number with Garoppolo under center. And last year, they came up just short. I think they were up. It was 17-7. I think they were up, and then they gave up the 13 points in the fourth quarter to fall just short. But just given their success against the Rams with Garoppolo and how much more highly I view Lance and his upside and what he can bring to the 49ers offense, opening up everything with his mobility, his arm strength. You got the biggest concern is the offensive line, I think. But I think that Lance's mobility can make up for that. You still got one of the best defensive units in the league in San Francisco. And then you got Lance elevating the Niners offense to what Garoppolo wasn't able to do. I know it sounds crazy right now, but so would if someone said the Bengals making Super Bowl last year before the season. So would that. So I'm going chalk with the AFC and the Bills, and I do have the Bills beating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So I agree with their Super Bowl winner. But I'm putting my nuts on the table with how highly I view Lance and how highly I've been talking about him since even before he was drafted. And I felt that San Francisco was the best landing spot for him in terms of his, and I think it's a combination of their defense and just the scheme of Kyle Shanahan to where even if Lance has some growing pains, they're still going to win games. I think it's very possible that the Rams win the division and then the 49ers make the run through as a wild card team. So I have the Bills defeating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. This is me being, completely unbiased, obviously, as a Seahawks fan with this prediction. But and part of me hopes I'm wrong about Trey Lance because just being a Seahawks fan. But this is my prediction, and that's what I'm sticking by. But I do have the Bills winning the Super Bowl and kind of finally getting over that hump this year, and what should be an electric Super Bowl game between two mobile quarterbacks, two what I believe will be high-powered offenses, two stout defenses as well. So that's what I'm rolling with.
I will say this though, if it's not one of my prediction Bills Rams, my next one is going to be the Battle of LA. I have the Chargers and Rams. If that's not going to be it, I'm really high on this Chargers team. I feel like this offense is going to be very electric, and the defense still has the pieces. As I said, I feel like Derwin James could definitely be a dark horse for Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like the addition of Khalil Mack and also J.C. Jackson when he gets healthy, definitely going to be huge. And if it's not Bills versus Rams, I personally want to see Chargers Rams in the Super Bowl this year. But you know what? I'll respect it. As you said, as a Seahawks fan myself, I don't want to see the Rams in the Super Bowl again, but I mean, I just feel like I would love to see Bobby Wagner get another ring as well. He's definitely been deserving of a ring to get his second one, and he could definitely do it in a better system and a better situation. So shout out to him. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel like the Bills are definitely going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. So we're just a few hours away from kickoff between the Rams and the Bills. Should be a super exciting game. I don't think we'll be able to go live tomorrow, but we'll be recapping all of Week 1 on Monday outside of course, the Monday night game. So we look forward to a fun weekend of NFL Week 1 football. Korea, was there anything else you wanted to go over?
No, I'm just excited for the season to start. Let's get it going. Obviously, we said tomorrow is going to be a lot more fantasy oriented, as we get toward the weekends.
Normally on Friday. Tomorrow we won't be going live, but normally on Friday, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the season to start, and it's going to be fun. I'm very excited to see how the Bills and Rams are going to kick off the 2022 season.
Without a doubt. So thank you all for tuning in. We will catch you all next week. Have a fun weekend of watching NFL football, fantasy football, all of that. College football as well, you can't forget. We'll also go over college football next week as well. Should be a lot of fun games in both college and NFL. So yeah, have a good weekend, and we will see you all next week.